If you close this video in the next 30 seconds, you stay exactly where they want you. Confused, doubting yourself, shrinking. But if you stay, you are about to get confirmation for something your soul has known for a long time, that you were never broken. You were just early. This video is not for everyone. It is not for people who just want to feel good for 5 minutes. This is for the ones who sat alone in the dark and questioned everything. The ones who felt like a stranger in their own family. The ones who kept asking, am I going crazy, or is this actually happening? You were not going crazy. You were decoding. And today, we are going to break down 14 reasons why the people who tried to destroy you are now quietly, secretly, completely afraid of you. Let's get into it. Number 1. You caught the lie while they were still living inside it. They were so confident in their deception, they did not even bother to hide it properly. Because to them, you were easy, trusting, emotionally open, easy to control. But while they were busy lying to you, you were busy noticing things. Tiny patterns, small inconsistencies, moments where nothing quite added up. You did not explode. You did not confront. You paid attention. You sat with confusion. You let the truth form, slowly, painfully, privately. You had nights where your mind felt like it was splitting in half. Because what you were realizing went against everything you were taught to believe. And you still kept going. That is what they never saw coming. Because most people stay comfortable inside the lie their entire lives. You did not. You leaned in. You let it unravel. And in doing so, you saw the entire game. That is why they are in awe of you now. Not because you are magic, because you are awake. And that is scarier than anything they have ever faced. Number 2. You can read energy they cannot even sense. This did not come from a book. It did not come from a course or a weekend seminar. This came from spiritual survival. You learn the hard way that vibes do not lie, even when people do. You can walk into a room and feel when something's off. You can look someone in the eyes and know they are lying, even when they are saying all the right things. And they have no idea how you do it. They think a compliment will soften you. They think switching their tone will disarm you. But you feel the hidden bitterness underneath. The quiet jealousy, the energy of someone who wants access to your peace, but zero responsibility for the damage they have caused. Once your spirit reads it, you cannot unsee it, and you do not argue. You do not demand explanations. You simply remove yourself, and that drives them absolutely crazy, because their entire game depended on you not knowing. Now you know, and there is no fooling you, only exposing themselves. Number 3. You broke generational programming without a single blueprint. From day one, you were being conditioned. Who to trust, what to believe, when to speak, when to stay silent. The rules were not always said out loud, but they were enforced through guilt, fear, and the constant threat of disapproval. You were taught to obey, to ignore your gut, to shrink yourself just to keep the peace. And all of it was labeled culture, tradition. This is just how families work. Most people never question it. They spend their whole lives trapped in inherited pain, passing on the same cycles they swore they had never repeat. But you started asking questions. And in families ruled by control, curiosity is rebellion. You notice the double standards. How love was used as leverage. How silence was expected after betrayal. How emotional manipulation was dressed up as protection. And without a mentor, without a guide, you began to untangle yourself from all of it. That is the part that genuinely shocks them. You had no blueprint. No one handed you the steps. You just knew something was wrong, and you trusted yourself enough to find out why. That is not common. That is not easy. That is rare. Number 4. You did not just wake up. You remembered. This wisdom did not come from a podcast. It was not handed to you by some guru online. What lives inside you cannot be Googled. You did not wake up one day with all the answers. You reconnected with a truth that had been buried inside you long before anyone tried to distort it. You could not always explain how you knew what you knew. You just knew, and that confused a lot of people. They thought you were going through a phase. They called it spirituality like it was a trend. But your clarity did not come from study. It came from soul-level memory. That is why your discernment is so sharp. That is why your spirit flinches at the smallest shift in someone's energy before your mind has even processed it. It not paranoia. It is memory. The trauma did not destroy you. It revealed you. It peeled back the layers and reconnected you to something that was always there. So no, you are not arrogant. You are not delusional. You just remembered who the hell you are. And that alone is enough to shift the atmosphere without you saying a single word. Number 5. You played dumb long, enough to memorize their entire playbook. You knew from the beginning something was off. The words did not match the energy. The smiles did not match the intentions. But instead of reacting, you did something that completely threw them off. You stayed silent, not out of fear, not because you were clueless, because you were studying. You let them believe you were naive, soft, harmless. You let them feel superior while they expose themselves in real time. And while they underestimated you, you were mentally filing every contradiction, every manipulation tactic, every time they slipped and showed you exactly who they were. They mistook your patience for stupidity. They had no idea you were 5 steps ahead, just waiting for the right moment to move. And when that moment came, you did not shout. You did not seek revenge. You moved smart, clean, without warning. That is what's eating them alive right now. Because they gave you the blueprint themselves. Every insult, every fake apology, every mood shift, you filed it all away. And they handed you everything you needed without you ever having to ask. Number 6. You sat with the pain instead of running from it. Most people run from pain. They bury it under business, hide it behind fake smiles, drown it in wake, distraction, anything, just to avoid sitting with the truth. You did not do that. You leaned into it. You let it speak. And what it told you changed everything. You started asking the questions most people avoid their entire lives. Why am I really hurting? What am I carrying? That was never mine to carry. Why do I keep attracting the same kind of pain? And the moment you got quiet enough to hear the answers, the illusion started breaking. You realized that silence was not always peace. It was often a cage. That the version of yourself they loved was a version that never challenged anything. But instead of running from that, you confronted it. You turned inward with brutal honesty. And that is where your wisdom came from. That is why your energy hits different now. While everyone else avoided the fire, you walked straight into it and let it burn away everything false. You did not run from the wound. You became the flame. Number 7. You made peace with being the villain in their story. They expected you to keep apologizing for things you did not do, to keep explaining yourself to people who had already decided not to understand you. They counted on you chasing their approval forever, but something inside you shifted, not in a bitter way, in a soul-saving, liberating kind of way. You realized, no matter how honest, how kind, how loyal you were, they had already made up their minds. So you stopped fighting it. You let them have their version of the story, and you walked away with your peace. That is what terrified them, because their power ran on your shame, your need for redemption, your desperation to be understood. The moment you stopped needing it, their control collapsed. You understood something most people never figure out. It is okay to be the villain in someone else's story if it means being the hero in your own life. They labeled you difficult, a threat, a problem, because you said no, because you drew a line, because you stopped allowing the same cycles to repeat. And instead of spiraling into self-doubt, you wore the label like armor. Now you are thriving. And the story they told about you does not match who you have become. They needed you broken to feel right. You choose to rise. Number 8. You saw the pattern they disguised as personality. They had a whole act, and for a while, it worked. The manipulation looked like charisma. The backhanded insults came with a smile, so people called it just being real. The gaslighting, the guilt trips, rebranded as personality quirks. That is just how they are. Do not take it personally. But you were not fooled. Not anymore. You started seeing the pattern underneath. The repetition, the intent, the control hiding inside every single interaction. You realized that what people called personality was actually a carefully built defense system, designed to dominate, deflect, and avoid accountability. The charming one used humor to get close, only to drain you the moment you let your guard down. The passive-aggressive one weaponized silence to keep you permanently confused. The spiritual one used sacred language to shame you, while quietly feeding off your insecurity. It was not personality. It was a power play, every single time. And the moment you gave it a name, the spell broke. Their power only worked while you stayed confused. The second you saw it clearly, they lost you, and they have never recovered from that. Number 9. You used isolation to build something they could not touch. They laughed when you went quiet, said you fell off, said you were acting strange, going ghost, disappearing. What they did not know was that your isolation was not a breakdown. It was a blueprint. You were not hiding. You were healing. You were not lost. You were strategically unplugging from everything that distracted you from becoming who you were meant to be. No one talks about how brutal that season is. The silence is loud. The loneliness aches. The doubt creeps in. But you stayed with it. You read, reflected, cried, prayed, disconnected and rebuilt. Without an audience, without applause, without needing anyone to understand. That kind of work does not make noise. It does not come with highlight reels or announcement posts. It happens in the unseen. And that is exactly why they are stunned by who you are now. Because you did not announce your growth. You became it. What they thought was your downfall was actually your incubation. You were being upgraded in silence. And now they are watching, confused, impressed, maybe even a little intimidated. But the work was never for them. It was for your becoming. Number 10. You turned every label they used against you into fuel. Too sensitive, too intense, too quiet, too weird. That is what they said. Like your depth was a defect. Like your presence was a problem. Like the very things that made you were somehow flaws to be corrected. But here's the truth. They did not want you to find. Every label was a clue. Too sensitive meant you felt what others tried to hide. You picked up on energy, body language, unspoken intentions, and that terrified people who were used to getting away with deception. Too intense meant you demanded realness in a world built on performance. Your presence required people to show up authentically, and shallow people cannot survive that. Too quiet was code for, I can't manipulate you because you are not giving me access. Too weird simply meant you refused to die inside the box they built for everyone else. At first, those words stung. They made you doubt your worth, water yourself down just to be accepted. But somewhere along the way, you woke up. You realized that what they tried to shame out of you was sacred. And instead of shrinking, you started shining. Now the same people who mocked you are watching from a distance, completely confused about how the one they underestimated became the one they cannot stop thinking about. Number 11. You did not just question authority. You became your own. For most of your life, you were told who to listen to. The parent who claimed they always knew best. The religious leader who said questioning was rebellion. The teacher who rewarded obedience and punished curiosity. The message was always the same. Power lives outside of you. Trust the system. Stay in line. And for a long time, you did. You silenced your instincts. You waited for permission before you made a move. You wanted to be good, approved, accepted, and they loved that version of you. But life kept placing you in moments where the people you trusted most failed you. The ones who said they'd protect you turned a blind eye. The ones who spoke of faith used it as a weapon of control. And in the quiet of your own soul, you realized something terrifying and liberating at the same time. No one is coming to save you. That truth cracked something open. You stopped waiting for permission to rise. You stopped letting guilt and tradition override your inner knowing. You stepped into your own authority, not the kind that needs a platform or a title, the kind that comes from knowing exactly who you are and who you answer to. Now they cannot touch you because you are not reacting to their control anymore. You are sovereign. You built your own table, and you did it without their blessing. Number 12. You turned every betrayal into a compass. Every person who betrayed, you thought they were setting you back. They thought their rejection their silence, their lies would break you, humble you, put you back in your place. What they did not realize is that they were being used, not by you, but by something far greater than their petty agendas. Because every time someone hurt you, abandoned you, or underestimated you, it triggered question, not just pain. A question: what is this showing me? What is this forcing me to confront? Where is this trying to lead me? And the moment you shifted from victim mode to visionary mode, everything snapped into place. The lies showed you what real truth felt like. The loss showed you what you were clinging to. The betrayal exposed the cracks in the foundation you were building on. And instead of collapsing, you rerouted. Every disappointment pointed you closer to your purpose. Every heartbreak cleared space for a high alignment. You were never being rejected. You were being redirected. And your enemies, they served you better than your friends ever did. Not because they loved you, but because they revealed what love never would have shown you. Now you walk with clarity. No bitterness. No need for revenge. No waiting for an apology. You silently thank them, because without their sabotage, you would have stayed exactly where it was comfortable. And now you are exactly where you were meant to be. Number 13. You expose their lies simply by choosing to heal. You did not argue. You did not gather evidence or go public with their secrets. You did not run around explaining what they did to you. You just healed. You focus on your growth, your alignment, your peace. And without even trying, you did what they feared most. You exposed them, not through drama, through vibration. Your truth became the mirror that reflected their lies. Your peace made their chaos obvious. Your clarity made their confusion impossible to ignore. They were banking on you staying broken. They needed your silence to be submission. But what they did not see coming was your transformation. Not the kind you post about online. The internal one. The one where your spirit got clean, your mind got sharper, your heart got lighter, and the moment you stopped entertaining their games, their manipulation lost its grip. Your presence started landing differently. Their passive aggression did not land anymore. Their little digs could not reach you. And without ever raising your voice, you exposed their energy. Because the fake cannot survive when the real walks in. People around them started feeling the contrast. You were not bitter. You were better. You were not angry, you were elevated, and the story they told about you stopped matching who you had become. You did not need revenge. You did not need the spotlight. All you had to do was walk in truth, and their shadows started screaming on their own. Number 14. You were the prophecy they laughed at, until it came true. They laughed when you were quiet, called you delusional when you spoke up, rolled their eyes when you said you were meant for something greater. To them, you were just another broken soul, trying to make meaning out of chaos. They did not see the calling. They were too busy judging the process. But what they failed to realize is that the very things they mocked were the exact signs that proved you were sent. Your silence was not weakness, it was preparation. Your pain was not punishment, it was refinement. Your isolation was not a failure, it was a sacred download. And now that you have stepped into alignment, they are scrambling. Not because you have changed, but because everything you carried inside you is now undeniable. Doors that were once shut are opening. People who once ignored you now respect your presence. Because you were always a prophecy. Their spirit recognized it. Their ego just refused to accept it. The chosen ones do not need to fight back. They become the evidence. Your healing is a testimony. Your resilience is a revelation. Your rise is the answer to every doubt they ever planted in you. You do not need a stage or title. Your existence is a confirmation. They thought you were the joke. You were the warning. And now that you are walking in purpose, they are finally beginning to understand. The thing they tried to bury was a seed. And that seed has risen. Now, if this message stirred something deep inside you, if it confirmed what you have always known, but could not quite put into words, then this space is for you. Subscribe to the channel Quantum Pathway, so you never miss another message that speaks directly to your soul. Like this video if it resonated with your journey. Drop a comment below. Tell us which point hit the hardest. Your truth might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And share this with someone who needs to be reminded of who they really are. This is not just content. It is confirmation. This is not just a video. It is a mirror. Let them wonder how you figured it out. You always knew. Welcome home. The world has been waiting for you to rise.